Hi, welcome. I am so happy to have you here today. If you did not catch my tutorial on how to make this, then look one video back. I will also have it linked down below. I'm Ingrid Carlsen, this is Care 2D, and today we're going to use this altered cellophane to make a tag. In Patreon, we're building this folio, and I had some leftover cardstock, so that's what I'm making the tag with. And honestly, I don't know if I should be trusted with scissors. I never cut straight, and I'm wondering if I'm the only one. Do you struggle with this? But I also don't cut straight with a cutter, so I'm not sure what the problem is. So I was trying to find papers that I thought would go well with the fuchsia color, and although I at first thought it was going to be the pink, I think that the contrast with the blue was really pretty, and so I'm just going to layer the tag on the paper and then cut it out. I find this is the easiest way to do this. I'm so in love with this yellow floral. I just love bright colored florals, and with this one I knew that I wanted it somewhere on the page. I'm also going to grab my ephemera book and grab some pieces that I think will go. Sometimes I'll grab extra pieces that don't make the cut once I start playing with it, and then sometimes I leave them in the book. What's funny about this is I totally thought those were Tim Holtz people because I usually don't have them cut out. I usually cut them out with you guys, and so when I was doing it, I was like, oh, I'll just use some Tim Holtz people, and then I realized they were mine. So and that's from the Garden Serenade kit. All of the stuff that I'm using today is either the Garden Serenade kit or the coordinating papers that are on Patreon. I fidgeted quite a bit with the floral yellow paper because I knew that I wanted it to be in the background, but it's so commanding. I didn't want it to take over the whole page. I did want the cellophane to kind of be the main character of the tag, and so I'm going to layer it behind this tag, and I think that way it gives it a subtle bit of color without being too overpowering. The really awesome part of using a cellophane or anything that is transparent is that you can layer it any which way. And so you can layer it on top, you can layer it below, depending on the look that you're going on. In this case, I started off with layering it like this, but as you can see, it takes away too much from the pattern papers, and so I'm going to end up putting it behind so that it complements them instead of dominating the entire piece. Then with the cellophane that is a lighter color and a little more translucent, now I can layer that one on top of my lady there because it's not going to compete so much with her. It's going to complement her. When I was cutting out the pieces of cellophane, I noticed that they resembled flowers. Do they resemble that to you? And I kind of felt it was very fitting with the background paper and everything, and it was like a bouquet tag. Never underestimate the power of some good book paper. I think that it matches it so well. It coordinates with that yellow ochre color and just is a good complement to it. I'm going to go ahead, and I finally found my rusty staples. They were downstairs. And so I'm going to go ahead and staple the piece together, and then I'm going to run it through the sewing machine. Have you ever heard of the term trying to catch a greased pig? Well, I've never lived on a farm or tried to catch a greased pig, but I imagine that's what it felt like when I was sewing through the cellophane. It was so slippery and it kept snagging on the machine. So anyways, just be cautious when you are working with it if you decide to stitch over it. And we're almost done with the base of the tag. I decided to go ahead and bring in some of the washi tape, which coordinates with the yellow floral, as well as a sentiment tag. I feel like when you add something that is either an alphabet or numerical, that it just adds a interest to your piece, especially when working with florals. To add a little bit more texture and of course bulk, because like I was talking yesterday's live, I love to bulk things up. I decided to add some lace trim. To add a little more dimension to the tag, I decided to kind of coffee dye after the fact. So I'm just taking some coffee here and I'm diluting it quite a bit, and I'm just going to run it over the areas that I think need a little bit of aging. Then I'm going to also make some splatters, as well as using some diluted black paint to do the same thing. Now, if you have a focal piece and you don't want that piece to get the splatters, you can always cover it with a little bit of paper so that you can avoid that. In this case, I think that it adds a lot of interest. I love all of the grunginess that added to the tag, and I'm pretty much finished with the base of the tag. Now all I'm going to do is add a topper using some fabric that I'm just going to fray and then staple on. I wanted to take a minute and give a huge thank you to my Patreons. I want to thank you, Robin, Vivian, Sue, Debbie, Wendy, Violet, Susan, Ramona, Terry, Teresa, Beth, Laura, Denise, Nancy, Elaine, Jennifer, and Allison. Thank you so much for all of your support. And to all of you that are watching this video, I thank you so much for all of your love and kindness, for all of your comments. And I hope that this tag video gave you some inspiration and that it encouraged you to go make something pretty today. So until next time, I'll see you soon.